My name is Alex Dangel, and this is my fiancée Petya. And we came to the clinic in Varna the first time in May of 2022. And Petya invited me to go to this clinic. I knew almost nothing about it. And I showed up, and my weight, I'm an airline pilot, and my health was diminishing. I was approaching 200 pounds. My blood pressure was very, very high without medication. My cholesterol was also very high. My liver was enlarged. And I just generally was not feeling very well. I wasn't sleeping well, and I think that I was in trouble. And through the course of the regime with Dr. Emilova, I started to feel better. I lost a lot of weight, about a pound a day, about a half a kilogram per day with the fasting. And unexpected things happened to me. My sense of smell came back that I didn't have for probably 20 years due to the inflammation in my sinuses. And my blood pressure came down. Within 5 days, I was able to get off of my blood pressure medication. Am I missing something?
No, I had been once by myself in the clinic, and I wanted to take him with me, but I was skeptical because I honestly thought that he will find a problem in the service or something, that the hotel is not going to be up to his high standards. So I thought there's a 50% chance he would stick with it. But I thought if he doesn't like it, we just go to Greece for vacation. So I was very, very happy and he did complain about the service, but after they got him off his blood pressure meds for 5 days, he was so encouraged that he's like, we're going to stay until the end of our vacation. So we stayed all the time, and I think, although I know couples where one person is eating healthy and the other one is not, it's so much easier and nicer if both people are on the same page. And so that's what will happen when we, at home, we eat mostly vegan food, so we eat whole plant-based food.
Whole foods and only animal foods once a week.
Yeah. And for my reason to get into this lifestyle is I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I was on 2 medications that could have very bad side effects. And so after going to Emilova's clinic, I got off the meds, so I'm maintaining remission, and I feel healthy without any medication for the arthritis. And I remember, because when I told my rheumatologist that I'm not gonna do any more infusions, he was polite, but he thought I was crazy. And because they follow me and track me and do tests, so after 2 years that I was healthy without medication, he said, okay, tell me what you're doing. And I remember he said that he has a few outliers. So he has a few patients out of thousands who maintain remission without meds, and he calls us outliers. And I told him, if we were living like everybody else, we would be outliers. But none of us is drinking soda. We're not eating sugar. We just have totally different way of life.
At the end of my first regimen in 2022 with Emilova, I literally, and it sounds crazy, but I felt like I was 20 years younger. I had like this kind of a freedom in my bones, flexibility, energy, a clarity of thought also that I was not expecting. And this was all of these effects were, for me, so unexpected. A lot of the pilots that I work with are aging, they're getting older, and they're starting to experience some of the symptoms that I had, increased blood pressure, increased weight, increased cholesterol due to the poor diet of life on the road. And so we often have discussions about, about diet. And also, I have a food bag that I travel with because I'm trying to be completely vegan and not eat in the restaurants or at the airport. A lot of that has to do with the salt because everything is over-salted. But these discussions come up almost organically because we're often eating in the cockpit, and a lot of times I'm sitting next to a pilot who's eating something not so healthy, maybe a cheeseburger or something with a lot of meat in it. And then I explain to them, well, I've been doing this vegan diet for 3 years now, and I learned all of this here from Dr. Emilova. And typically, there's a lot of interest in what I'm doing, and I try to explain every aspect of the fasting with the build-up and the foods that we eat at home, our normal foods moving forward. And a lot of the people I work with are very interested in this. But I don't know of anybody that I work with that's actually come to the clinic yet. So I think it's not so easy to break your patterns and to break your habits and to punch out of your routine. I know that I did that because Petya invited me, and I'm so grateful to her for that.
I think I also a lot of time people compliment me. I look very well for my age. If I tell them how I eat, they assume I tend to tell people that fruit fasting is a lot easier than it sounds, because when people hear about fruit fast, they assume that that's so exhausting and awful. Their perception is it's a kind of torture, which I also thought it's close to impossible. But when I start doing it, after a few days I adjust, I feel light. So I think that maybe people should come here and do a few days of vegan foods to get accustomed to the idea, and then proceed with food fast. Because everybody that compliments my looks, they get scared from food fast. So, and I have been trying, and I keep trying to bring some of my sick friends here. So it's important to know that fruit fast is way easier and doable than it sounds. You should not make any assumptions, just go do it, see how you feel. After all, you can always leave if you want to, so it's not like you are forced to do it, but it's way easier than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we get close to the year mark of our last fast, Petya is doing twice a year, I'm doing once a year. But when we get close to this year, I can feel my body starting to crave this. Like I need it, like I want it, I'm looking forward to it. I get hungry to starve myself. And it's a wonderful feeling, really, to do this process, because you feel lighter. You feel, I don't know, I feel like I'm opening up and coming back to myself. Borovets is a stunningly beautiful place, and the air is just incredible here. The trees, the air, the birds, the natural beauty that surrounds you here is conducive to breathing, to taking that in. It invites you to go for walks and to explore. Dr. Emilova is in conversation I liken her to a transformer. She's a powerhouse, literally, and she has all of this energy that she's taking from nature, from fruits and vegetables, and she's converting this into a healing force for the good of humanity. And it really is transformative, and I don't know how else to describe that. She has a life force and a vigor and a fire in her that motivates people and inspires people. She inspired me. And I know she inspired Petya because Petya brought me here.